This was the first time she'd invited her neighbor to spend the night at her home. Under the dim yellow lamplight, the air was filled with an indescribable shyness. Since their respective spouses had passed away, it had been a long time since either of them had shared a room with the opposite sex. This feeling of having someone by their side made these two lonely elders feel the warmth and sweetness of their youth again.
Have you forgotten now?
No.
You know, we don't need to rush. We can take our time.
They were originally just neighbors, both living alone after losing their beloved partners. Their children rarely stayed by their side either. Their later years had been dull and uninteresting, until one day Addie made a bold decision. She lingered outside Louis's door for a long time. Finally, she gathered the courage to gently knock on that door.
Hello, Louis.
Hello, Mrs. Moore.
Addie.
Is everything all right?
Can I talk to you about something?
Sure.
May I come in?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Addie's heart was full of anxiety, but she still spoke her request word by word.
Would you be interested in coming to my house sometime to sleep with me? Did I take your breath away?
Yeah.
See, we're both alone. You know, we've been on our own for years. I'm lonely, and I'm guessing you might be too.
This request had nothing to do with desire. She just hoped to have someone to chat with during the long nights, to dispel the endless loneliness in her heart. Addie's proposal was like a stone thrown into a calm lake. It stirred ripples in Louis's heart. After a night of deep thought, Louis finally called Addie back. He agreed to Addie's proposal. They would try spending time together for a while, and they agreed he'd come stay at Addie's house at 9 p.m. the next evening. The time quietly arrived. Louis patiently washed up. He brought his pajamas and slippers. He quietly entered through Addie's back door.
What are you doing back here?
Well, I wasn't sure if it, you know how it is, people talk.
This was the first time they'd been in such close contact. Their behavior was inevitably a bit awkward. Addie took out the red wine she'd prepared in advance, not knowing that Louis actually preferred drinking beer.
Do you have any beer?
I'll get some beer for you next time.
Although they'd been neighbors for 40 years, they'd had no real connection, so they fell silent after just a few exchanges. To ease the awkwardness, Addie suggested giving Louis a tour of her house. On the first night, the two were like strangers who'd just met. Perhaps it was the effect of the alcohol, or perhaps it was that sense of stability Louis radiated. Addie, who'd just lain down, soon fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, Louis quietly went home with his things. When he happened to look back, he glimpsed Addie standing by the window, quietly watching his retreating figure. During the day, Louis remained the same as usual. Besides going to the cafe to chat with old friends, the rest of his time was spent reading newspapers at home. At night, Louis came to Addie's house again with his pajamas. Only this time, he arrived much earlier than last night, and Addie had thoughtfully prepared beer for him.
I wasn't sure if you'd come back.
Why not?
I don't know. You didn't leave your pajamas here last time.
I didn't want to seem presumptuous.
Might be easier if you left a few things here. Well, then you wouldn't have to carry them.
Louis didn't understand why Addie had chosen him. Addie spoke frankly, because he looked more dignified than other old men. Actually, the main reason was she thought Louis was a good man. Not until tonight did they truly sit down to have a proper conversation. In Louis's impression, Addie was a woman with character and refinement. As they each endured the difficult years after losing their partners, at least Addie's life seemed more dignified than his own. Actually, over the years, they'd both been quietly paying attention to each other, but they were afraid of disturbing each other's lives. During their heart-to-heart, Addie hoped Louis would come through the front door next time, but Louis worried about gossip from the neighbors. He didn't want to cause her trouble. That night the two talked about many things, from daily life to unfulfilled dreams from their youth, from their respective children to the loneliness of old age. The next day, Louis still returned home through the back path. On the third night, Louis habitually walked toward Addie's back door, but this time Addie didn't open the door. She even playfully pulled the curtains shut on purpose. Louis immediately understood what she meant. He had no choice but to turn around and walk to the front door. Addie pretended as if she hadn't just seen him.
Well, hello there.
Oh.
As old neighbors who'd lived in the same neighborhood for many years, Addie knew Louis had once had a painful romantic past, that past involving betrayal and a broken family. Louis didn't hide anything. He told Addie about it in a calm tone, though his eyes still held traces of tears. They also showed the peace that comes with the passage of time. Fortunately, Louis hadn't continued making mistakes back then. Instead, he'd come to his senses and returned to his wife and daughter. Even though time had passed, Louis still felt guilty about the third party he'd hurt. He always felt like his soul was missing a piece, or perhaps he'd missed something more precious in life.
I think you're still in love with her.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it.
Maybe a little bit with the memory of her, but that's different.
Come on, get in bed.
Because he'd entered Addie's house through the front door yesterday. After one night, the old friends at the cafe all knew about Addie and Louis. Everyone found it incredible, but the smiles on their faces just wouldn't stop. When Louis walked in carrying coffee, he didn't know he'd already become the subject of everyone's teasing. His old friends deliberately joked with him in a teasing tone.
Well, we gotta compliment you on your energy. Yes, sir. We all wish we had your energy.
These seemingly joking remarks were actually sincere envy and praise from everyone. Louis smiled helplessly and left money for the coffee. Amid everyone's laughter, he turned and left, pretending to be calm. That evening, Louis came to Addie's house as usual. He knew their relationship was no longer a secret. Looking at the lavish candlelit dinner on the table, Louis was deeply moved. Since his wife had passed away, he'd never had such a thoughtfully prepared meal. He also told Addie about his encounter at the cafe during the day. Although he pretended not to care on the surface, deep down, he was somewhat uncomfortable. He'd always cared about his image. He didn't want his old friends to complicate this simple, pure companionship. That night, feelings stirred in Louis's heart. Several times he wanted to reach out and hold Addie's hand, but looking at her sleeping face, he quietly withdrew his hand after all. Days passed one by one. The two got along better and better. The initial awkwardness gradually dissipated. Watching Addie make coffee for him, Louis's lips would involuntarily curl into a smile. He suddenly shared an idea with Addie.
I've got this idea.
I'm listening.
When do we go into town, have lunch? Just take our time and enjoy ourselves?
In public.
Yeah.
The next day, an elegantly dressed couple appeared on the town streets. They didn't exchange many words, nor did they have any intimate gestures, but they still attracted attention from those around them. Many neighbors who knew them were in the town's restaurant. Everyone warmly came up to greet them. This was the first time they'd appeared together in public. It was also announcing their relationship to everyone. After lunch, watching the crowds coming and going on the street, Addie took Louis's arm for the first time on her own initiative. These two elders who'd weathered life's vicissitudes, in this moment revealed that warm and enduring love. Just as the two were immersed in this warmth and companionship, life quietly unfolded new circumstances for them.